This is the Vlex Innovator Q&A series, and I'm very pleased to have with me today Wendy Butler Curtis, the Chief Innovation Officer from Oric. Welcome, Wendy.
Ed, thank you so much for having me.
Can you start by telling us your story? What's your background? How'd you get where you are as the CIO of Oric, Chief Innovation Officer?
So, Ed, I was so glad you sent this question ahead of time because you know what I want to talk about?
Tell me.
Pirates. Is that what I bet that's
Gar!
not what you thought where this was going to go? And even better, the rescue from pirates. So, did
Love
you
it.
see the movie Captain Phillips with Tom Hanks?
No.
Okay, well, that's your first homework. Conversation with me. You got to go back and watch this movie. But it's the story of a captain of a tanker who was taken hostage by, I believe, Somali pirates. And so we successfully rescued him. He was an American. And Admiral Michelle Howard was the lead and had command of this rescue. And she came to Oric to speak. And she told the incredible story of the challenge of achieving that rescue, right? This is a life and death situation. An American is a hostage. You have tides, you have winds, all of these things, and it seemed insurmountable and impossible. And so what she did is she assembled this team of different kinds of military specialists and at different ranks. So you had intelligence folks, and you had special forces, and you had naval commanders, all of these different people. And of course, together, they put together this plan, punchline of the movie. They rescue Captain Phillips. And Admiral Howard has again and again been recognized by how extraordinary it was in terms of what she did. Right? So she put together this group of people with unique, diverse perspectives. She found a solution in an incredible time pressure. And then last but not least, she made space for collaborative brainstorming with all these different people of different levels of seniority and different expertise. So now I see your furrowed brow, like, what does this have to do with anything, right? So how did I get here? How did I end up being the Chief Innovation Officer? Well, one, I am a military kid, so I only ever knew change. So that I think has had a big influence. But the thing that I think changed most in my career and brought me to where I am and has really allowed us to achieve what we've been able to do is that I am a litigator. I'm a trained lawyer. I practiced law for a long time. But suddenly when I moved into this space, the people that I work with dramatically changed. So not only had I worked with just lawyers, Ed, but lawyers who'd been trained to be litigators. And we all thought the same way, like we approached the problems the same way. And then suddenly I was working with data scientists and I was working with finance people and business development and talent, and the way that I saw things and realizing how much I didn't see in terms of an opportunity to solve a problem or to even see an opportunity. That was what has been most transformative in my career. And I would say that shift in the people and the perspectives of my colleagues has had the biggest impact.
Amazing. We've talked about this a little bit, but I'd be interested to have you say just a little bit more about the challenge of making room for people with diverse viewpoints and with different styles. Some people are extroverted, some people are introverted. How do you make room on a team for all of those perspectives?
It's a place that I think I can always be better. So one, in my role and in my personality, you won't be surprised to hear that one of the goals that I set for myself a few years ago and I'm continuing to work on is to be more quiet. So I would like to think that in my practice and in working with clients, I was a really good listener. But I realized within my own community, within my own organization, I was often the first one to speak, or I was quick to give an answer. And I have worked really hard to do that. And I think it has benefited my teams, but I have to say it's been incredibly rewarding for me to see by listening the very thing that we talked about, Admiral Howard, that it elevates the quality of the conversation. The other thing that we do, and I think we talked about this briefly when we were chatting last, within our team, we spend January, and there are many teams within the broader organization, I'm sorry, within the broader innovation department, everybody puts together their priorities and their OKRs, and then we share them. And some overlap and collaboration opportunities are obvious, but it's amazing as we talk more broadly, the touch points that never would have otherwise been surfaced. And then somebody from a group that's entirely outside of yours asks a question about your priority that we wouldn't have even thought to ask. And it also, yes, go ahead, Ed. This is me being quiet.
No, I was
Oh,
just
yeah.
illustrating that point.
Yes. So I really enjoy January. I enjoy this exercise within the group, and it gives us a roadmap and also a place to lean into when things seem chaotic. You know, that idea of the next project popped in, it seems like everything's on fire, and we can kind of revert back. Okay, we've been asked to do 6 things today. Is this in the priorities that we set for the year? If not, should we change them? And so it doesn't, while it still can be certainly intense, it allows us, I think, to be feeling at all times that we're working with purpose.
When did you take the CIO role?
I was afraid you were going to ask that, Ed. I always get this a little fuzzy in my head. And in 2016, maybe 2017-ish.
It's probably safe to say you were one of the first chief innovation officers at a major law firm.
Yeah.
There wasn't a very prominent role. It's pretty common now, but it wasn't then. It seems like maybe with the advent of AI, there are suddenly like a lot of innovation roles inside of global large law firms. How has AI changed your role at Oric? And what do you see as some of the most like effective uses of AI for law firms, for corporate legal departments, for legal operations?
It's interesting when you talk about the role because I do think, and although we may have common titles, actually the mandate for folks with this title really varies across law firms. One of the things that has been really rewarding with the advent of and the democratization of generative AI, especially after the fall of 2022, is we had the benefit, to the point of your question, that I had been in my role for several years, but also we had built out our data teams and our innovation teams. So when this happened, we had the scale and we had kind of Admiral Howard's team already in place. And to try to do that now, I mean, I think part of what we'll probably end up talking about today is the incredible war for talent in this space. We had that critical mass. So while there's lots of change that AI brought, one of the wonderful things was that it really affirmed the decisions that we'd made to invest in the teams that we had. We were ready and we're busy. I don't mean to say that we haven't been disrupted like everyone else, but I feel like we were very prepared. The other thing that's been exciting about this is our job, right? We're part of the innovation department. We're supposed to be thinking about all of this all the time. We're passionate, we're engaged, and hopefully we were good at seeing what's on the horizon. But the ability to see change, I think, changed exponentially with the release of ChatGPT. I was talking to someone this past week, and they were talking about the fact that each of us, our human brain can't see all the change, but rather if you look through a small peephole at any given moment, you can see about a peephole worth of change, and that's how much your brain can process. But I think with ChatGPT, our peephole or our lens got so much bigger, and everyone could have this common imagination, and that allowed us to collaborate even better. And I think in some ways took away some of the fear because we all could see what was possible. And in terms of use cases, Ed, right now, I believe that we're still seeing the highest impact, and what I think about is incremental innovation. Things that we're already doing, but doing them better. And in some ways, some of the less complex things that we do. But what's on the horizon, why we really lean into the line that it's an exciting time to be alive, is that the disruptive innovation is coming. And so we're kind of leaning into the incremental and learning as we go, but we know bigger change is coming.
You have an interesting, maybe unique vantage point, as a chief innovation officer, you are seeing the transformation inside of work. You're also seeing it happen with your clients in real time at the same time. Do you think that relationship between in-house counsel and law firms has changed and evolved during this time? Are there core trends that you're seeing
Yeah.
from your unique vantage point?
So when you talk about our clients, Oric does have a really unique vantage point. So we've done 55 AI related M&A transactions valued at over 10 billion in 17 markets. Those are global markets since September
Wow.
of 2023. So, we are working and living, and our clients are leading this space. And so, because of who our client base is, we have a sector strategy. One of our three sectors is, or four sectors is technology and innovation. We're collaborating with our clients around this change in a way that is so unique, and we're learning from them. They understand how this technology works. We're all talking about the incredible opportunities, but also working together on the risks. The other thing, because of who our client base is, we don't have a regulatory structure yet. So those who are leading in this industry are setting the standard ahead of the regulators. And it's such an exciting time to think about, what is the customer expectation? What is the right thing to do? And so thinking about this even before there is a regulation and having a seat at that table for the best and brightest minds who are thinking about this. And you're really helping set those standards. I think embedded in that, again, is understanding the tech, the risk, the opportunity, the responsibility, and the use cases. So seeing what our clients are doing in their businesses, and then coming back to law and saying, well, how does that translate? And then last but not least, we all have to develop new skills. We have to understand this technology. We have to think about ourselves in some ways as a technologist. We have to think about prompting until the technology moves along and you don't have to prompt anymore. And so we're working together to bring those skills to the current lawyers and legal professionals, and then working with the law schools to think about what the skills are for the next generation. So because of who our client base is, because we're working on those deals, because we're representing those companies and they are the experts, we are really engaging in a way that I haven't seen in my career. And I don't think there's been another moment in time like this.
So you are from this position, you're able to see a little farther down the horizon than many people are. Look into your crystal ball. Tell me what you are seeing. What are your top predictions for 2025?
So in legal, I think that 2025, we're going to see a shift. And I'm going to start by talking about AI because we all talk about AI. So we're going to move, I think, from experimentation to reflection. And what I mean by that is I think there was a race, and it continues to be a race, but to get in and to learn and to understand the technology. And now we've had a moment and we are at a place to understand the technology's potential, but also its limitations. So, we experimented, we learned, now we pause. And now in this point of reflection, what is the bet to make to have the big impact? And so I think that's what you're going to see, kind of pulling back from trying and testing every technology to thinking more about, okay, what is the place and the opportunity? I think, Ed, we're going to continue to see the war for talent, and in particular in law, the business professionals that can lead through this incredible time of change. And if you want, we are in the market right now. We have hope postings. Please look, listeners. But finding people who understand this and have the passion and the competence, it's a tight market. And so I think we're going to continue to see that. And
You heard it
then
here, by the way. Like if you're a talented professional in this industry, if you are legal or legal adjacent and you're looking downfield, you want like a really interesting challenge. Uh, Work is open for business. They're
that's
hiring.
right. Thank you, Ed. And then I think this is a prediction. I might be cheating, Ed, because it might be a hope, but I'm going to stick with it's a prediction. In my crystal ball, I think we're going to be talking a lot more about how Gen AI actually increases the satisfaction and the quality of life for legal professionals. I don't think we're talking about that enough. This is a wonderful profession, and I'm grateful every day that I went to law school, but it's intense and it's demanding and it's deadline based and it's unpredictable. And this technology has the potential to really help manage some of those challenges that can make this a difficult job at times. And so I'm excited to see that and to talk more about that.
Finally, Wendy, what are your goals for 2025? What are you working on? What initiatives are you excited about? What conferences are you excited to attend?
So several of my colleagues and I did Clay Christensen's disruptive strategy course at Harvard a few years ago, and it was terrific. It's one of the best things I've done in my career. And our colleague Vitica Mehera this week, like today, is on campus at Harvard, and she's doing, I can remember the name, Harvard's Managing Innovation course. And so I'm really excited. She's been already texting us today the reading list, and we're all, running out to read the books. And when we did the Clay Christensen class, we did it as a group and we shared and talked a lot about our learnings. And I would say, Ed, we talk about something from that course in our meetings once a week. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing what Vitica brings back and kind of what else we can learn together and what I'll be reading.
One of the most misunderstood and misquoted business books in America.
Well, I'm hoping we're not perpetuating that, but for our team, it's been incredibly helpful.
No, it sounds like you're doing the homework. You'll be one of the few who does it correctly, talking about the innovator's dilemma and the real learnings from it, not the LinkedIn soundbite of it. Thank you, Wendy. It's been a pleasure chatting with you today. We'll be excited to keep following your career and see what you do next in legal innovation. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ed.